this is a very unique platform that Dr. Shahid Adivasi has taken initiatives where we can discuss or explore the critical issues mainly related to sustainable development, global warming, climate change, societal development, education aspect, and so on. So today's our distinguished guest, Mr. S. Bhaskaran, who is a founder of InfoSystem, is present with us, and hope he will explain his journey that he has developed a Planet System mobile app through his innovative idea. And it's really a unique apps he has developed. Through this app, we can track carbon footprint for individuals, for organizations, for societal aspect, for countries as well. So it is very unique invention by Mr. S. Bhaskaran, and we appreciate his effort and dedication to develop this app. And at the same time, we are grateful to all of you, grateful to Bhaskaran sir and others, distinguished scholars, speakers, guests who are present over here in this platform. So thank you very much that Dr. Shahid Adivasi has arranged this type of platform where we can explore many things, we can learn many things, we can develop many things, awareness, social development, social awareness, education awareness, awareness for climate change, global warming, so many things. So hope the session will be very successful, and thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor.
Yes, I have. There are some features.
Okay, so yeah.
I downloaded it too.
Then what did you see? Because that's the essence of this very session.
Seriously, I could not use it. I don't know how to use it. I've tried. Even the so-called, let me say, the tutorial there, I don't understand.
All right. But did you try? Okay, we didn't share the video. Okay, but what happened that you couldn't use it? What happened?
As in the functions, I don't know.
You're supposed to have asked me. You're supposed to have get back to me that I share an information. You wanted to use it and you didn't get it. I would have shared the video of the full tutorial with you. Okay, fine. Engineer Olatunde, did you download? I'm not sure because you are all engaged during the week. Did you download it?
No, Doc, I've not downloaded it.
All right. Well, what I will say is that all of us, please let us download that very app. It is very, very important because what we want to discuss, we are going to contribute to it in our own different ways, community, and also in our platforms. So that is what we want to actually initiate this very morning. We want to initiate action on that very app. And because of knowing the essence and the importance of that very app, that's why we're actually inviting our guests who are dealing with issues around climate change and emission and the different things that surrounded the use of that very app. That's why we have scheduled them to talk to us so that we can know the significance and importance of this very app. And yes, let me allow, since we have our speakers here now, we have Mr. Samuel Tuku from Kenya. So let me now allow the co-chair that is sharing this very session and that designed the app that is going to help us manage our carbon emission and reduce that very emission through the technology strategy. Let me allow Sir Bhaskaran to address us. Thank you. Good morning. Good evening, sir.
So where do I start from?
You have the floor now, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well, sir.
Yes.
My question is, do I need to present this again or just talk in general? Because if I talk in general, people who are not attended the session in the past would not understand what it is, correct?
All right.
So let me know, like, if I got a share option. I'm going to share.
Okay.
I'm going to
right.
run a short video so that people get an idea. Then, you know, I can go through the app details and all. Are you able to view the slide?
Yes.
Okay,
The
just let me
slide
know
is open now.
whether you're able to hear the sound.
Challenges due to climate change.
Did you hear the sound?
Yes. Yes, we can hear the sound too.
Okay, fine. So let me.
Our actions alone can mitigate these challenges and preserve the planet for both current and future generations. Climate change and its impact on life and planet Earth are the consequences of the Industrial Revolution initiated by humans and characterized by unsustainable, excessive, and unnecessary consumption. Net zero or carbon neutral refers to achieving a balance between the amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, emissions released into the atmosphere and the amount of CO2 removed from the atmosphere or offset through various measures. Governments and businesses alone cannot fully solve the environmental challenges to meet the net zero target, even with regulatory compliance, carbon credits, incentives, and carbon taxes, unless it becomes mandatory for all, including students, employees, and individuals. Too many fail to grasp or choose to disregard this reality. It's akin to a dangerous pact. You, as individuals, consume without consequence, while we heap pressure on corporations, big and small, to meet the SDG goals. The fate of achieving net zero in the distant future remains uncertain, as those who pledge may not wield power to see it through. Yet, it is within the grasp of individuals, students, youth, and employees to seize control, embrace responsible consumption, and propel our nation towards the vital goal of net zero, safeguarding the future of our precious planet Earth. Many are just talking about sustainability and climate action but do not practice them in their personal lives or in their business-related consumption. InvaSystems facilitates rapid awareness building and widespread adoption through mobile apps. This empowers businesses, SMEs, educational institutions, and NGOs to engage and create awareness among students, youth, employees, stakeholders, and the community. They can track and reduce their carbon footprint through responsible consumption. The world's first simple, easy-to-use mobile app-based solution spreads green literacy and creates awareness, encouraging action to mitigate the impacts of climate change and meet net zero targets. Planet Sustain assists in tracking consumption, monitoring carbon footprints, fostering sustainable habits, implementing offset measures, promoting responsible consumption, and leading environmental awareness and implementation initiatives for businesses, schools, colleges, and NGOs, as well as for students, youth, individuals, and communities. Climate action challenges involve creating awareness and enabling sustainable practices through behavioral, systemic, and design changes in responsible consumption. Planet Sustain assists businesses and SMEs in setting up baseline carbon footprints, tracking emissions, and implementing offset measures. It also fosters awareness, engages stakeholders in carbon footprint tracking, and encourages sustainable practices. The app is versatile, serving as a tool for training, onboarding, and orientation. It generates monthly carbon footprint reports, facilitating reviews and necessary actions to reduce consumption, ensure regulatory compliance, and achieve cost savings. Planet Sustain can be deployed worldwide to capture Scope 1, 2, and 3 emission data from business operations and stakeholders such as employees and suppliers. Businesses and educational institutions can collect data from their various business offices or campus operations to consolidate information for generating monthly carbon footprint reports. Additionally, they have the option to gather consumption data from stakeholders, including employees, students, and suppliers, to track Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. This includes data related to commuting to work or school, working from home, travel, transport, supply, logistics, and delivery, which are required to estimate the carbon footprint.
Planet Sustain mobile app was a Green Innovations Merit winner at the Singapore Environmental Achievement Awards 2023 by Singapore Environment Council. Planet Sustain mobile app was featured in Go Green SG campaign led by Ministry of Sustainability and Environment, Singapore, and will continue supporting every year. The Planet Sustain mobile app is simple to use and suitable for all ages, from children to the elderly. You can enter data with just 2 touches, and the data is stored only on the mobile phone if used by individuals. User data or carbon data is not monetized, and the app is highly PDPA and GDPR compliant. The app data entry will not take more than 10 minutes for any given month.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I want to congratulate Sir Bashkaran on this very new video, because I know this is a very new video, maybe following the review of different stakeholders and people that you have engaged. This is very comprehensive, and I can bet you that no stakeholder is going to see this, even the United Nations organizations, that they will not love it. They will surely love
hold
it.
on for a
So
minute.
congratulations on this. Congratulations on this, sir.
Disclaimer. The purpose of the Planet Sustain mobile app is to create awareness and enable users to enter data to understand their carbon footprint as part of educational purposes or for data collection by their associated businesses, with the user's explicit consent only. The carbon emission/offset factors used to convert consumed units to kgCO2e or kgCO2o are estimates only. The app does not verify or authenticate the data entered or the emission/offset conversion factors used for carbon footprint estimates. If there are discrepancies in the country-specific emission/offset factors used, app users may contact admin GA at invasystems.com with supporting data/documents approved by regulatory bodies in their respective countries to maintain a single master set of emission/offset factors that can be used in the app for estimating greenhouse gas (GHG) inventories. App users have the option to verify through local auditors for regulatory submissions or compliance purposes. We can collaborate with you, whether you are a business, government entity, SME, school, college, university, federation, NGO, or individual, to create a habitable Earth for present and future generations. Planet Sustain mobile app is available on for Android, Google Play, and for iOS, iPhone/iPad, on App Store. Download, install, and register for 1-month free trial using free sign-up on the app, no credit card details required. After registering, verify your email, check inbox/spam folders, to receive a membership ID and password. Your small actions every day will result in a giant leap for mankind to save this planet Earth for current and future generations. Every drop of water counts, and every action counts to combat climate change. Do you want to leave your present and future generations to live in an unsustainable world burdened with debt and unmanageable healthcare costs? Invasystems, a Singapore-based company with over 2 decades of experience, specializes in software products, mobile apps, big data analytics, IT infrastructure services, and e-learning. Our commitment lies in fostering innovation and shaping a sustainable future. We empower educational institutions, businesses, SMEs, students, youth, and individuals to actively embrace sustainability, encompassing carbon footprint tracking, cost savings, and contributing to reducing carbon emissions to support the nation's net zero goals.
I've done that video.
Yes, like I said, this is an improvement and a perfect one to actually send. In fact, no need for detailed explanation of everything. You just need to just send this link to any individual, any stakeholder, and just make a reference to some of these various sections, and you will get the message right perfectly well. So congratulations, Sir Bashkaran, once again. Yeah, you can make your comments, then our guest is going to take the floor.
Yeah, this video is only for when we're talking to businesses, schools, colleges, when they want to engage the stakeholders. I have a different version of the video which will explain the basics, what is the climate change, why the actions should be taken, how individuals can participate. It is meant for individuals. That link will be available. I'll make it available on the YouTube. But this one, we'll make it. I will run this video in conferences, and because I don't need to keep repeating. See, what is sustainability, right? Sustainability is not doing the same mundane activities repeatedly, using your energy, time, and effort, right? And many times when let's say I'm going to present this, in a PowerPoint presentation mode, I'm going to miss out, certain key communication messages based on my mood, my health condition, things like that. So I didn't want to lose that out. If I'm talking to businesses, educational institutions, this video will be played. I'll separately play that, that will be available on YouTube, where people will understand, why this climate change is happening, why global warming is happening. That's a 12 minutes video. This is around 8 minutes. That's so people will understand. I'll stop here. I'm ready to answer any questions, answers. The app is simple to use, like any children can use it. They just need to, because many times people are not either, they're not motivated or they're not familiar with that, right? So they should get motivated. Why I should contribute? Why I should take part in climate action? Global warming, right? You see that I cannot step out in Singapore during daytime because it's so hot. It is like hot in Sahara Desert. People don't understand why this climate change is impacting me. I'm the root cause of this climate change, right? Because humanity created this issue from industrial revolution. We keep on consuming more and more every year. We keep on buying more and more, even if we don't require it. We are the root cause. We need to take charge. We need to take small steps. Let's say I consume electricity, water, gas. I track the carbon footprint, reduce the consumption. Unless the individual takes part and then reduce the carbon footprint, we are not going to meet any net zero goals. We may be attending COP, maybe even in 2130, 2150, we will not be meeting that net zero goals. So people should understand it is for their own sake, for their future sake, for the children's sake, they should participate and not become a silent spectator.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And like I said, I have seen the different version of the videos from the info system before, but I think if it was supposed to be this one that we have been playing, people would have taken more action than we are actually experiencing. And that's the reason why, please put this link on the chat box. The link of that video, put it on the chat box so that people can copy it. And also, so let me welcome formally our guests for today are Mr. Samuel Choko and also Mrs. Warawan. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but you just pardon me. Keratana Piwati. I know when I call upon you, you are going to spell your name very properly for us. So let me welcome you. And let me welcome you so sincerely. Thank you. They have been trying to connect for the past 30 minutes, 20 minutes, like I was also trying to also connect to them. It has been technical issues and whatever. But at last, Mr. Samuel said, we are going to have it. And of course, we are actually having it. So thank you. This is Sir Bhaskaran, who developed the app for the carbon emission management and also tracking to reduce the emission impacts in the global community. And we have played the video, and that's why I said that if you share the video link for everybody to also see. And also, we have all our guests within the community. Professor Bishnu is here, Professor Khalid is here. We have the wonderful Mrs. Kakunda Naomi from Uganda. We have Engineer Olatunde Olagunju. We have Anulu Akbo, we have Jennifer, we have Latifa, we have Aziza, we have Anissa, we have everybody here. Actually, in our community, we have more than 126 scholars and the leaders, and we have the advisory board that is more than 50. And on the other side, we have the professional on LinkedIn that is more than 120 as at the moment. So we want to welcome you sincerely to this very platform, Mrs. Warawan, and we are very glad to meet you. And it has been a wonderful experience communicating with you to actually feature on this very program. Likewise, Mr. Samuel Tuku. So let me pardon our time and our attention for some time to also hear from our guests. Let me start from Mr. Samuel Tuku. Within the 5 minutes, let us meet you. What's your career path like? And let us gain the inspiration from your short story of the career journey up to this moment. Thank you, Mr. Samuel.
Thank you, Dr. Said. And I would like also to thank my other panelists. I'm Samuel Duku from Nairobi, Kenya, founder Sajo Technical Solutions and Sultan Kitchen. I would like to recognize this platform for giving me the space to share my career, where I started with the passion of getting our environment and contributing my energy to saving our trees and forests and everything to do with the clean cooking energy. Sorry for that. Though my contribution is from a private sector perspective in clean sustainable energy in cooking. Through my passion in clean cooking energy, I have partnered with NGOs, government and private sector in implementation of the same. We are doing innovative technologies in our learning institutions where we have installed eco-friendly energy saving decos. So that is what has always been pushing me on how to save our forests, to save soil erosion, floodings. Like now we are experiencing the flooding in Kenya, which is as a result of the deforestation. So I thank you for having me, and I'll share more on the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. Like I said, to actually meet you. And let me open the floor for Mrs. Waran from Thailand. Yes, let us meet you. Let us have your career pathways to this very wonderful platform and also to sustainability of the global community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that I come late. My name is Warawan. This is correct, and everybody can call me Nok, which is the short name. It is common in Thailand that we have a short name because our full name is very long and difficult to remember. So you can call me Warawan or Nok, whatever that you want. And regarding to my background, my background actually is social work, but I also study in the peace study and international human rights law as well. And right now I'm studying the third master in social development evaluation that I think it is quite related to our region, I mean Southeast Asia, and also in terms of agricultural development. In these few years, I have been involved as one of the evaluator team to do the impact assessment or baseline assessment, or even to do the final and midterm evaluation for the agricultural project, several projects in Thailand and in other countries in the ASEAN as well, and including India, which is in South Asia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, let me return back to Mrs. Warawan as well to have a slide, shared about the presentation of today, so that we can have practical engagement before we now move to the case study of Mr. Samuel Tuku.
Okay, so
let me make you a co-host so that you can share your screen. Okay, let me make you a co-host. You can share your screen.
You can put my team. Her name is Warawan team. I'm not sure if you can see her.
Okay, I have seen it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yes. Both of you are now. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
โอคะแชร์สกรีนพี่ได้เลยค่ะ
Okay.
โอเค
Yes,
ทำเป็น
wonderful.
สไลด์ก็ได้ค่ะโอ โ Okay, so today we will the presentation that I will talk is it's broad and brief, but I hope that next time if I am invited again, I may provide more detail in terms of each project that I used to be involved. And for this time, my presentation will be harnessing technology for sustainable future and focus on how to use the strategy, especially political strategy and the strategy with the private sector and innovation in global carbon emission reduction. So it is not only the farmers or it is not only the government can do, but we need the cooperation from the private sector and from the academic institute as well. Next slide, please. Okay, I think I don't need to inform you anymore because I already touched base on this just a few minutes ago. Next slide, please. Okay, the outline for today. So I will just share with you my experience on these several point of view. The first one is the current status of carbon emission, not only in Thailand, but in assuming in our region, and also the climate change impact on agriculture and community, especially the agricultural community that many community members are farmers. And I will tell you a bit more about the case study, which is related to SRP or Sustainable Rice Platform project that I do the comparative study. It is an impact assessment in two countries, which is in India and in Vietnam. And enhancing efficiency with technology and the urgency for adoption and challenges, because we found that some farmers and some community member, they still have a reluctance. They don't want to accept the new technology and innovation because they have some kind of belief that they have been doing that for a long time. So they don't want to change the way that they are doing on their job, on the paddy field, for example. And we will end with the conclusion. Or not yet. Okay, that's fine. Next slide is the current status of carbon emission. So right now, what I can say, and it is my assumption that it may happen in other parts of the world as well, but in Southeast Asia, as you may see that we are quite suffer during the COVID-19. We couldn't do like a kind of job that we used to do for a few years continuously and lost a lot of income. So turning to focus to ASEAN, we found that according to my experience, like I just did the evaluation project related to how to use the technology and innovation in the paddy field in Thailand. We found that some farmer, I cannot say every farmer in Thailand, but some farmer, they just think about how to increase the productivity. They don't think that much about like low emission rice or greenhouse gas effect emission or something like that, climate change, don't think that much, but they would like to increase the productivity to increase their income. So the idea of industrialization and economic growth is quite important effect to them. And that is why when we talk about the greenhouse gas emission or like the low carbon emission, like the low carbon thing, climate change, it will not be like prioritized that much in farmer in general. Next slide, please. Okay, and in terms of the impact on agriculture and community due to the climate change, we found that the higher carbon emission are leading to direct observatory impact. What that you can see and you can touch by yourself. Example, the air pollution. Right now you will see, and right now we have the application, right, to calculate the air pollution in the area that you are staying. So you can see that in Thailand and in other country as well, not every country, but in our neighboring country, the air pollution is quite high because of I cannot say that it because of agricultural activity only, but it is from the climate change that make us have to live in this air pollution, and it of course lead to a kind of health problem to somebody that they are not healthy originally. And the second one is the acid rain. So the rain is not clean anymore. In the past, if you can remember, I think like in many parts of the world, the people contain the rain in some container because the rain is quite clean was quite clean at that time, and then they can use the rainwater to do some activity during the dry season or during the summer season that the water was not a lot. But right now the rain itself even unsafe anymore, and you may got some like dermatological disease if you touch the rain for a long time, for example, in some area, not the whole area. And also the greenhouse gas effect causing the global warming. As you may see that you may touch by yourself that we feel hotter and hotter, like Thailand today. We need to live in the country with 40 up to 40 degrees right now, 41, 42 degrees right now. That never happened before in the past. When I was young, it would be like this. And the second impact that we found is the implication that maybe we cannot see it obviously because we need some kind of tools to calculate or to measure it. For example, the rising sea level that maybe it will happen someday, like in the movie that you see, like the flood that destroy the whole world. That because of the high level of the sea water and the extreme weather event. Like when you say like summer season, it was very hot, but for the winter season it is very cold, something like that. So this is a kind of like the climate change impact that happen. And this is also very important for the agricultural activities, because if they cannot measure or if they cannot anticipate the level of water or like the temperature well enough, it will affect the productivity. So, and it will lead to other relevant things related to economic crisis or related to the food security as well. So this is quite not only standalone issue, but when one thing happen, it also affect the whole world, not only the farmers, but the other people as well. And the biodiversity would be also change, like and this biodiversity, as I said, like the acid rain, the temperature become very hot, become very cold, and also you can see some kind of a disease or like the chemical things in the vegetable, in the fruit as well. So these everything related to the damage on the human in the human body related to the health disease and agriculture. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, for this one, the real world impact on the communities that you will see like the heat wave in the urban area. If you compare between urban area and the rural area, why the heat wave stuck in the urban area? Because a lot of skyrocket building. That is why you will feel very hot when you go out of the building with the air condition. You will not feel anything that kind of that kind of feeling like it is very hot outside. But compared to the rural area, the heat wave in the rural area is not that much because the land is quite smooth and not many skyrocket building. But again, when I visit the field in the paddy field, how do I say, the temperature is still quite high, and I still feel very hot. And when I ask the farmer, yes, the temperature become higher and higher every year according to their observation. And regular flooding in coastal region in ASEAN, we have some country and we have some city even in Thailand that connect to the sea, and it's quite, how do I say, it's quite surprised that those city, those country suffer from flooding as well. So this is the kind of when I asked the people there, they said like, yes, it used to happen, but it's not happen every year like this. So maybe it happened like a 7 year, 10 year, it happened one time, but right now it happens almost every year. So it is the thing that has changed from the climate change, and increase the frequency and intensity of the typhoon. So you can see like the typhoon, the storm becomes stronger and stronger and destroy the life and of people and also the agricultural land as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so I focus on the Sustainable Rice Platform or SRP. What we found from this project is the project focused on the transitioning from conventional to sustainable rice. Sustainable rice means the project will try to reduce whatever that not good for rising for planting the rice. For example, the chemical substance, and also to measure the quality of the soil and try to reduce the water that used in the paddy field, because when you grow the rice, you need to have the proper level of the water. Too much and too few is not good for the rice. So this project has a kind of like technology to measure the water and to reduce and increase the water as well. And for example, like when you would like to do the to harvest the the rice, they also have the technology, the tool to help you how to do it. You can do it in the very short time, and so it helps to reduce the cost that you spend, that you invest to plant the rice, and also increase the productivity as well. So this technology will also help to address the methane emission from the rice paddy field, and also to reduce the greenhouse gas effect. Next slide, please. All right, and the impact of this intervention is the first thing, it can reduce the water usage, as I said, and because they have the technology to do that. And the second one is to decrease the chemical input, because they promote to use the organic fertilizer, not to rely on the chemical fertilizer, because the chemical fertilizer, maybe it will be good to provide the high productivity in only a few years, but later it damages the soil quality a lot, and also to reduce the carbon emission. Because if you don't use a lot of chemical, it will reduce the carbon emission finally, and the enhance of sustainability of rice farming will happen. And the feedback from the local farmer was overwhelmingly positive. But what I can say is like it will be called like only some farmer. It is not from like every local farmer, because some farmer they feel like this is not the technology that they are familiar with, so they would like to use the traditional way to do it, which is nothing wrong. But the wrong thing is like our world has been changed from the climate change already, so maybe we need some technology to address such kind of problem, and also to provide the benefit to the farmer as well. Next slide, please. Okay, and then we enhance the efficiency with the technology, because according to my experience that I work with with one organization, they do the survey market research, and to the rice with the one university, Kasetsart University, and like the how do I say, technology institute in Thailand, which is called NECTEC. It is like they create the application that they will help farmer to identify the rice disease before taking the rice rice with that look weird to the how do I say, to the rice department, something like that. And then the rice department need to take like a few weeks to identify what kind of disease happened to this rice. And then if you wait for that time, maybe you lost a lot already, because some disease need immediate need to be like solved immediately, need to be like the remedy need to be quite fast to reduce it. Otherwise, the farmer will lose like many hectares of their rice field. And then this app can identify. You just take a photo of the rice that you feel that you think this is something wrong with this rice or not, and then you send the image, the photo to the Line group, because in Thailand Line is quite a popular communication application. Then you send it to the Line group, and then there will be like the specialist, the expert in the rice to provide the suggestion. And the second, the next slide, please. Yes, and then we found that farmer is quite farmer is quite happy with this, because like they can identify the rice, and then the rice disease quite in the very short time, and at the same time they can also like to how do I say, to rescue the rice field for the time being, and this kind of application is affordable for them as well. Next slide, please. Okay, and the urgency for adoption. I think it's quite urgent to adopt this kind of new technology, because right now we are in the climate change, and we are suffering from the global warming and carbon, and the global carbon the greenhouse gas and the carbon emission need to be we need to do something with the global with this kind of problem. So the adoption in technology in sustainability effort is quite urgent, and we need to do it and need to explain to the farmer to understand, especially the senior farmer, to explain why this kind of technology and innovation are important for them, and necessity to highlight that if the farmer do this, adopt this kind of technology, it will not help only themselves, but it will help the world, the whole world, and also like to reduce the severity of the climate-related event. And the challenge, as I told you before, sometimes some tool is quite high in terms of paying or in terms of the investment. That is why I said we need the collaboration with the private sector as well, because like the farmer itself, themselves may not it will not be affordable for the farmer group. So maybe if we can find the investor or the private sector that recognize the importance of this issue to invest first, and then they do some kind of collaboration with the farmer. I think this will be a good thing to support the sustainability of the agriculture. And the critical gap is also the technology access and affordability, as I mentioned earlier. Second, next slide, please. Okay, the second bullet point is the second challenge is like the measure is come from again, like they unable to invest in some kind of technology and need the support from the private sector. And the gap is like they don't if sometimes they don't understand why we need this kind of technology. So the training and the knowledge session providing to them is important. And also many agricultural community, they are located in the very far away from the urban area, and some technology that need internet or need some kind of like a communication at the real time, it will be like challenging. And also to respond to this challenge is to establish the partnership model with the technology company. Maybe we can relate it to the telephone company or internet company, and advocate for the government subsidy to make the farmers and make the people involved can afford this kind of technology. Next slide, please. Okay, and scalability for carbon emission reduction. To scale up this issue, we need to overcome the challenge not only at the local level. We cannot put the burden to the farmer only, but we need to do it as a global, regional, and even the people living in the urban area like me. We need to concern all the time. Okay, this is a kind of activity that create the greenhouse gas effect or not, and what we can do to help the farmer that living very far away from us or even living in a different country, because when we don't have rice to consume, we cannot survive as well. So this is the thing that we should focus on. And the second thing is to not to think only short term, like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, not enough. Maybe we need to think something more sustainability and to increase the knowledge and increase the collaboration between the different sector. The knowledge for the farmer and the collaboration in the different sector would be very important. And the last slide for me is a conclusion. Next slide, please. Okay, and the transformative potential technology like the agricultural sector is very robust path forward, and the innovation solution that we discussed from sustainable rice farming practice to advanced disease identification application. It highlights how technology can reduce carbon footprint, and also essential that we harness this technology, not only the benefit for the environment, but the benefit for our future, for ourselves. This is the benefit for ourselves, for our children as well. And as a leader of the country, as a policymaker and influencer, so these people will be the very important person to advocate for the and integrate the technology-driven solution into the sector that they are working on. And so let's work together to create a sustainable world, one innovative step at a time. Thank you so much.
Wow, 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 wow. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Too fast. I speak too fast. I'm not sure if 15 is longer than.
No, it's perfect.
Okay.
It's very, very perfect. In fact, that is what I want to comment on, that absolutely you are based in Thailand and you have experienced global sustainability, international relations and everything, and you still manage to still communicate very effectively and wonderfully and in English, and very, very wonderful delivery. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And when you were talking, I remember that in Nigeria, the most cherished rice around the world is actually rice coming from Thailand. Thailand rice. Thank you so much.
Thanks
so
a
we will
lot.
come back to you. Let's take the presentation from Mr. Samuel. Mr. Samuel.
Thank you for the time. I would like to touch on the cooking system that can save our cooking staff from carbon emissions. Carbon emissions from unfavorable cooking conditions can be prevented or controlled by applying modern technology, which is bringing more solutions to save our forests, health, and food shortage. By using poor cooking methods, we attract different negative effects, namely deforestation, diseases from carbon emissions, food shortage as a result of low rainfall, which results from deforestation. Let me touch on deforestation. Human activities like cooking through biomass fuel like firewood and charcoal is a major contributor to deforestation. Trees consume carbon emissions and gives out oxygen for human consumption. This means that the more trees we cut for our daily activities, the more we reduce oxygen in any given environment. This also leads to soil erosion, for we have already interfered with the trees supposed to hold the soil and reduce the speed of rainwater. As a result of deforestation, we find ourselves in a situation where we lose the ability to enjoy adequate rainfall to support our agricultural activities. This has led to food shortage since there are no adequate rainfall. It has also attracted expensive farming methods like irrigation, leading to high food prices. So the prices of food goes up since we are using the expensive method of farming like irrigation, which attracts machines and everything instead of using the rainwater. On matters health, wood and methane cooking fuels produce hazardous, dangerous emissions to our respiratory system when not well managed or controlled. I'm reading from my script, which I had prepared.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, we know.
This leads to diseases like glaucoma, cough, pneumonia, headache, tuberculosis, heart attacks, irregular heartbeat, premature deaths, asthma, cancer, and other related diseases. Permit me to just touch on one of the mentioned diseases, glaucoma. According to global research in 2020, 70 million people suffered from glaucoma as a result of poor cooking environment. Glaucoma leads to chest pain, loss of clear sight or vision, blindness, eye pains, persistent headache, and others. All this can be prevented or minimized by applying modern technology in our kitchens, where we have managed to invent and innovate different eco-friendly cooking systems, which saves 80% and 100% of our trees, depending on the fuel used. For instance, the jikos or cooking systems can use renewable biomass like briquettes, which save 100% of our trees, since briquettes are produced by recycling waste materials. Although methane is not a renewable source of energy, since it's acquired through mining, it also saves deforestation by 100%. When we use fuels like firewood and charcoal, we save 80% deforestation, since the jikos are modified in a way that it reduces fuel consumption by 80%. This means that if you can manage to install the jikos or cooking system in our learning institutions, which are the major consumers of firewood and charcoal, we can save our forest by 80%, which can be recovered by engaging the population in our learning institution in planting more trees. In a case where our learning institution, for instance, uses 1 million trees per annum, and we apply modern cooking systems where we save 80% consumption, it means that we will have saved 800,000 trees per annum. If the same learning institutions are supported and engaged in tree planting, and we plant 10 million trees per annum, we will have already recovered the forest cover and have more than enough for consumption and other activities. I would like to conclude by giving out the challenges we are going through from the climate change and from the response from our government and other organizations. We always look for partners like non-governmental organizations to support the schools which cannot afford the cooking systems, since they are so expensive for the schools to afford, like the schools in marginalized areas, whereby our private sector and our NGOs can support the schools through funding or donor funding to make them afford the cooking systems to save our forests and save our cooking staff from diseases like glaucoma and others related or leading from the poor cooking condition. I would like our viewers to visit our website, Saju Technical Solutions. I'll share more, or on LinkedIn, where you can find our videos and photos on what we are doing. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention.
Wow. Thank you so much. And actually, I was attracted by your initiative cooking solution strategy, and what actually attracted the profile to feature on this very session that we are actually talking about the use of this very app for emission management. And it has been a wonderful experience. Sir Bashkaran has presented from the perspective of the generality of what is causing the emission, and also what this app can do, the wonders that it can do, from awareness to strategies of mitigation to strategy of management and the rest like that. And Mrs. Warawan from Thailand has shared from the perspective of the emission and the issues around agriculture, and also talk about so many things that surrounds the management, and also how it can be integrated into the management of the food system, the livelihood, the life system, and the global community entirely and also you have come from the perspective of the cooking, which is actually killing many sites, especially in Africa and some part of the Asia, because that's where the cooking is actually happening. That is where we have the tropical environment, where we can have trees that people can cut down. It has been a very wonderful experience. Let's now agree on a particular point. The point I want to establish is that the emission coming from the chemical use and the emission coming from the conventional agriculture, how do we measure them? And how do we know that which one is far better than the other? Because we need to subject this thing to the tracking and analysis method. It may be very, very surprising that the emission that is coming from the conventional agriculture is actually higher than the use of the chemicals. It is very possible, because by the time we use this very tracker to actually track the amount of emission that is coming out of these very two systems, that is where we can determine which one is more sustainable. Unless there have been studies that have been carried out and that gave us the amount that is coming from the chemical use and the amount that is coming from the conventional agricultural system. I think this is talking about to show to Mr. Samuel. It is no doubt that emission that is coming from the use of firewood is even when you are seeing it, you are cooking, you won't be able to understand it, not to talk of the pollution, not to talk of the health implication that you have mentioned with glaucoma. So there is no doubt that this very cooking system of managing emission is a very sustainable solution. But if we replicate it in different households, in different organizations, in different communities, how do we determine the emission that is coming out when we are using this very app? That is where I want us to agree on, so that we can see how some of this very technology can aid or can facilitate or can enhance the reduction strategy of emission, so that people can know the value they are contributing to humanity. That if I use this very cooking system alternative, this is what I am contributing in reducing the emission. Okay, if I use this very kind of a sustainable agriculture, this is what I am contributing in reducing the emission. That is what this app is going to help us to do. But how do we integrate this very knowledge domain into the component of this very app to make it more useful for different stakeholders that we have brought into the picture now? So that is the aspect I want us to address before we now see the remark from Sir Baskaran that we can now direct so many questions to him to interact with. So let me open the floor with Mr. Samuel.
Okay, we will advise our running institutions to use the app that has been provided to measure the amount of emissions we are producing, not forgetting that even the trees are waiting for us to give them carbon, so we cannot fight carbon.
Yes. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Carbon for the trees to breathe and give us oxygen. So we should also consider that we cannot minimize carbon in an average that it will also affect the trees.
Okay. Yes, I quite agree with you. I think in one presentation that I did on net zero carbon something, I told them that without carbon, life cannot exist. Carbohydrate is a carbon. Yes, carbonation of what brings the fuel about is a carbon. What you are breathing in, breathing out is a sustenance as part of the carbon, but the excess of it that is causing the heat effect on the planet is what we want to reduce. And of course, that's the reason why the use of app is going to tell us how much are we actually tracking, how much are we actually emitting, how much are we actually regulating. I think that is the aspect of technology that is going to be very fantastic for us to actually talk about. Mrs. Warawan, let's hear from your perspective as well.
Could you please repeat your question?
Yes, we are saying that there is a possibility of having the emission from the conventional traditional agricultural system that is going to be, maybe when we compare it to the use of the mechanized chemical-driven agriculture, the emission can be higher in either case. But if we don't track it, we don't measure it, we will not be able to regulate. And whether we like it or not, I want to agree that mechanized and irrigated farming is still the most productive against the conventional. So we can actually use this app to track how to regulate where the emission is actually coming from. Is it the use of fueling in tractor use? Is it the use of certain chemical composition in fertilizer? Is it so we can actually use this very strategy of different methods to track where the emission is actually bringing issues, then cut it down, then try to regulate and let the system also run effectively. So what is your thought about this?
Yeah, I agree. It is a pros and cons. And when we think about, if I don't misunderstand your question or your explanation, there is somebody also mentioned that to use technology and to use like the innovative mechanism to the paddy field, to the agricultural system. Sometimes it need like we need to think about it like with a holistic idea, because it doesn't mean that this will be only one way to reduce emission. It is not the one way, but at the same time, we need to come up with some other idea. For example, the good governance. So we need to not to allow any service provider or any private sector to monopolize this kind of technology. This is one thing, and the second thing is like we need to provide the information to the farmer. When I said information, is not try to convince them to use this kind of technology, but to give them what happen if they don't use, what happen if they use, and just provide like the neutral information to them. And the one who made the final decision would be themselves. So this is what I try to say, because yeah, if I understand correctly, yeah.
Yes, perfectly. And I want to agree with you on the term. When we thought that technology was actually revolutionizing and making things easier, that was a particular presentation. I think Professor Bishnu can remember this very presentation on the use of laptops, mobile phones, and some domestic appliances, the kind of emission that they are giving to the environment. Even where it is quantified in totality, it is even competing with all these major fueling companies that we are actually even complaining about. So you see, like a kind of holistic approach that you mentioned, that was the reason why I mentioned this as well. That should be a way of integrating everything just to regulate which of the industry is actually contributing and to track what is the possibility of having a balance in all this. So let me open floor for Professor Bishnu. Yes, Professor Bishnu, your contribution and comments, sir.
Thank you.
See, whatever activities is going on in the industry or in the commercial trading, whatever they are, directly, indirectly, is contributing to enhancing the accelerating the global warming. So as Ms. Orawan has said, mainly in sustainable development things, reduction of carbon from the environment. She explained many unique ways how people can reduce carbon from the environment. And say as we are using laptop, we are using mobile phone, so many things, but indirectly all are indirectly or directly all are participating to accelerate the global warming. Now things is that how we can measure this quantify these emissions. Actually, the technology has been developed in many aspects, that low carbon technology, zero carbon technologies, low energy technology, many things is there. That is actually the initiative from this point. And in the broad aspect, say, Bhaskaran sir has developed apps which can directly track the carbon. How much carbon we are, how much greenhouse gas we are producing daily basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, through the different users, through the different applications, to the different utilities, say from the clothes, papers, fuels, electricity, movement, vehicles, aeroplanes, so many things. So this is the actually the regulating the things in this way. Otherwise, it is directly nobody can trace out how much greenhouse gas from the which source it is actually producing. So madam has explained something, that how agriculture is affecting in this global warming and climate change effect, and she explained the many technologies, the possibilities, where the chances to reduce the carbon footprints and reduce the impact of the global warming. So this is the way to mitigate all those issues. Especially I emphasize on the apps which is directly can trace out the carbon footprint where we are exactly now through the fact and figure. This is my opinions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I don't want to agree totally that education, as we are driving it, education is not contributing. Like Professor Bishnu has said, and everybody have agreed. Professor Khalid, what do you think? What the role of education and what the role of the community can play in deployment of the very app and making sure that it initiated an idea of contributing one's quota, conscious activities that can guide the reduction strategy. What do you think about this?
Yes, thank you everyone for sharing. Thank you, Dr. Operation. Thank you, Dr. Bhaskaran, and thank you for the amazing presentation. I'm so happy. It's really, I agree with you with that. But actually, I agree also with Dr. Bishna, because actually, actually, the technology actually will be you support for everything. As thank you also, Dr. Saeed, because you support for this platform to can be able to share and update the knowledge for to grow with the new generation about for the climate change, and also good environment and good education. I said to think about also if we can also support for education, that's to grow with the youth to know more about that. We have now a chance to contact online and use the technology to share more knowledge during the technology, and that's also support for climate change, of course. Sure, I'm sure, because I had also last week global summit. All people was talking about the technology, how it can support for climate change, how can share around the world to grow with the good knowledge for good environment. Of course, that's good, and that's good chance for us actually, as here we discuss very important issue to solve all trouble about climate change, about education. We used actually this platform to share good knowledge by using technology. Yeah, I agree with you. I much appreciate your support for that. I'm so happy to be here to attend excellent discussing about these issues. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think we have a guest.
I want to say a few words.
As well, yes, Professor Bishnu, yes, go on.
After all, education is the foundation for everything. Say today in the among the global community, many people actually not aware about the global warming, climate change, sustainable development. So education awareness as the utmost importance at the present scenario. Otherwise, how people would know that what is the carbon footprint, how it will track, how it will accelerate the global warming, many things. So education is the main foundation, which actually government has taken initiative to enhance the education system, education ecosystem, research and learning ecosystems. That is actually a prime importance, should be a prime importance in any policy agenda. And this platform also spreading the education among the research scholars and global community. So for example, say Bhaskar sir has developed an app. It is actually very critical app, and he has given a many effort to develop this app. Many years perseverance is required to develop this app, but many countries, many people not aware the importance of this app. So that is the things we have to create the awareness among the people that what is the important things at the present time. Mainly this global warming, climate change, sustainable development, and to make awareness all those things. Education is the main foundation, and this type of summit like Dr. Adivasi has taken initiative to establish this platform. It is actually the actual things from which we can create the awareness across the globe gradually. So that is my say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, Comrade Alimi Mohammed Olagoki, you are welcome to this platform. You have been listening to what our guests from around the globe are saying and the topic that we're actually treating. What do you have to say about this? Likewise, Mrs. Kakunda Naomi, I think we have been doing this together for a long time. So what do you have to say before we move on to the next round? Engineer Olatunde Olagunju, what do you have to say? Yeah. Let us hear from any of you. Comrade Alimi, Mrs. Kakunda, Engineer Olatunde Olagunju. Is there any one of you that want to say something here? Mrs. Naomi.
Yes, I greet you all. I wanted to say something, but unfortunately, we are in a census and someone has just arrived.
All right. Officially engaged. Okay, understood. Thank you.
But
we
I
will
will
continue the discussion later. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, welcome. Comrade Alimi, Engineer Olagunju.
Hello, sir. Doc.
Yes, we are with you.
Yes, the section has been wonderful. The speakers have said a lot of things that are very essential to the session, which is very, very commendable. We thank them for coming. I don't really have much to say, but I just want to commend those speakers. They have been wonderful. And as well, the facilitator, I pray that God will release more grace onto the facilitator, Dr. Saeed Adebisi. Thank you for to be a member of this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, let's hear from another set of our audience. Jennifer, what do you have to say? You must say something because you are actually advocating for climate change, and I know you should have downloaded the app by now. So this is the app that we have been talking about. And what do you have to say?
Okay,
then we
so
have another
yes,
guest, Sophie. Sophie, where are you connecting from? I think Sophie is with one of our guests, I guess. Sophie.
Hello, sir. That's our colleague that I'm telling you about. I discussed that with.
Okay.
She's not joining us.
All right. So, Jennifer, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so I would like to appreciate the speakers and our profs that are here. And as regards what you also said that the education, the contribution that the effect of education or the impact of education in using this particular app. I feel education will help because it will help students, because students are also part of the community. I know they are coming from the community, and it will help them to gain and this technical know-how, practical knowledge of how to apply all they've been learning in the class. Because we can't just explain climate change to them without making them understand the very impact of carbon, and how we can't just leave it at explaining it in the class alone. So using this tracking app will help them, and when they even get home, they will need to introduce that. It will help to create awareness to their parents and the community at large, because they will pass the information home, they will take the information home, and they will teach their parents. And if this continues over time, if this process continues over time, I know that a lot of people will get to know more about this app. So education is a major contributor to promoting this very app. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining this morning, and thank you to
Thank
the
you so
speakers
much.
again.
You dish out a strategy that I want Sabashkaran to actually comment on. I think, yes, if you are taking a course on climate change, how do you practicalize it? How do you understand what you are actually teaching as a course in the universities, in the colleges, in high schools? I think this app can be a tool, like a teaching tool, to actually understand or to teach or to demonstrate the emission, the carbon, and what's the issue. I think this is a very good strategy from Jennifer. What do you think about it, Sir Bashkaran?
For all the feedback given, the purpose for this app was to create an awareness, not to get into too much of technicalities. It is like, teaching a baby, what is carbon footprint. All the world leaders, politicians go to COP, have parties, fly private jets, and then they discuss and they make a promise there. We will meet the net zero by 2050, 2070. Right? So they make a promise, they come back. But who's going to adopt? They put the pressure on businesses, large businesses, not even SMEs. You need to meet the net zero. Singapore has imposed carbon tax last year, $5, this year, $25 per metric ton, next year, 40. It will keep on going. So it's not mandatory. So it's like, in fact, like my videos actually what has been made for last 1 month basically says like leaders will go and promise because they know that, they'll not be there in future to meet the goals, right? Because they'll be away either from power or they'll not be live in the goals, right? So they make a promise. So they say, net zero. What is a common man? What is a student? What is a youth understands net zero? Does he understand what is net zero? Something, net zero is like, all the carbon will, vanish from the atmosphere overall, right? So they don't understand net zero. So then, you talk to them about carbon footprint. They say, what is my carbon footprint? What do you mean by that? Nobody understands carbon footprint. This cannot be taught, like in academic side. I'll come to the academic side a bit later, right? So people have to understand your consumption on a day-to-day basis results in carbon footprint, right? So we don't need to have like more sophisticated technology, tools to use it, right? If I'm consuming, let's say, 100 kilowatt hours of electricity in a month, I just select a month, put in 100. I know what is the carbon footprint based on the emission factors applicable because of the raw material used for energy creation. It could be coal, it could be nuclear, wind, thermal, geothermal, hydro, tidal and all, right? So we don't go into that completely, right? So in my home, what do I use? I use electricity. I use gas. Some places use, like, let's say kerosene, food and all. If I know how to measure that, because I can look at a bill, I can take the 100 kilowatt hour. If I'm using wood, I can weigh the wood. If I'm using kerosene, I can, I know how many liters I put in that, I know. The awareness creation has to be there. Otherwise, no government will be a, net zero government. Which government will say, I want my GDP to reduce my GDP year on year to become a sustainable country. The politician's life actually is there in the GDP growth. Otherwise, they'll not get elected. Which CEO owner of a company would like to have their business revenue reduced year on year because they want to be a sustainable company, because they want to sell more and more, whether you want it or not, they want to sell more and more because people are greedy, right? They want to own everything. They are like very good, becoming irresponsible consumer. Buy, right? I want to keep on buying because somebody's selling to me. So people have to take action. So it's better to start with people, and then people won't listen to you. As I said, many of you wouldn't have even downloaded the app because you feel there's no necessity for me to go and download the app. But let's say your children comes to you, Dad, Mom, there is a talk about carbon footprint going on. Global warming is happening. It's too hot outside. Flooding is happening. Drought, fire, right? What is the cause of this? Because we are the real cause, root cause for this. Let's take some steps. Let's contribute to this. Let's understand at least the baseline. Forget about industry baseline, agriculture baseline, all those things. What are we consuming? We're consuming electricity, water, gas are the basic, right? We buy clothes. Let's understand. It's not a scientific, emission factor. Nobody can give you what is the emission factor for consuming something. Right? It's an estimated one. So let's put in those values. It's easy to use. Let's understand. Let's also take steps. If I'm using, let's say, 100 kilowatt hour in a month, can we, switch off the lights for some time? Right? Because, in many countries, no electricity for many hours. You might be facing, and even in India, you face that. Let's switch off the light. Let's switch off the air conditioner for some time. Right? Let's not buy additional clothes than what we don't need. Right? Let's consume less paper. Things like that. All those things. Let's take a sustainable transport, public transport. If the student can educate the parents will listen. Because today, everybody's struggling with their income. Nobody gets income, no salary hike happens, global, GDP in recession, you look at the cost of living. In Singapore, electricity cost from last November to this January has gone up by 35%. Where is that additional income going to come to me? I need to save, understand what I'm consuming. Is there any way I can optimize? Including food waste, like many people waste, they just throw the food outside. If they don't consume, they just throw it away. Look at all these factors. Can I consume less, become a responsible consumer? When I become a responsible consumption happens, I can reduce the carbon footprint. Because, as I said, the action has to start from you. Nobody's going to come and help you. There is no God. If there is God, he will not have, drought, fire, flooding, humanity suffer like this because the human created. Humans created God, and God is not going to come and help you, right? You need to safeguard your own planet. In fact, I tell every students and all, let's adopt a planet. Adoption of a planet is not a correct grammatical sentence, but you adopt your planet. Take care of that, because if you don't take care of that, the Mother Earth will cry every day. Crying will come through, showing that extreme heat, drought, fire, flooding. That's what the symptoms comes. When your body still you get the symptom, diarrhea, fever, headache and all. Earth is also displaying the same thing to you. You don't want to take care, it's not going to be there for you. And the nearest planet, if planet you want to go to Mars, will take 6 months for you to go, and only the rich who can afford it can go. You cannot go. You'll be left behind on this earth for suffer everything, right? So coming back to students, right? Like students are the best. In fact, there is a video on student also of education. It's a 10 minutes video. I can, play it separately. So we are saying education institutions have a bigger role to play in involving students, right? When the student, go through environmental science courses, they study, they study books, academic books. There'll be a word biodiversity, all those things, in environmental science, right? Take care of, deforestation, afforestation, all those things will be there. But there is no carbon footprint. They cannot realize what is carbon footprint. If we tell them what is carbon footprint, they will not know. It's somebody telling somebody that fire will hurt you. Unless you put your finger on the fire, you will not realize, right? So student can use the app, educational institution can engage the students and faculty to use the app, run some pilot programs, we can run free pilot programs, we're not asking money for that. You run the program, let the student use the app. They can, now when the student use the app, they can actually take because many of them will use smartphones in most of the country, or they can use the parent's smartphone. Go home, look at that. What is what is our, electricity bill this month? Can you give me the kilowatt hour? Show me the bill. Take that 100 kilowatt hour, just unit 100, select a month, put there. They will know what is carbon footprint. So it's taking from an academic classes to a real world experience. Let's say in developed countries, like we have many options. In Singapore, we can take public transport all the time. I don't need to take a private taxi. I can see, I never taken a private taxi in the last 3 years, come whatever may be, right? Because I know that when I take taxi, it's going to increase my carbon footprint emission. I can take public transport because we are well connected. In other countries, it not be well connected, but you can choose the option. Whenever it's not urgent, you can take public transport wherever possible. So student can educate the parents, communicate this message to the community, so that everybody reduces carbon footprint. As an individual, let's say we started, like an app for an individual, app for a student or a youth, because we can go and measure all those industrial emissions, all those greenhouse gases, all those things, but yeah.
I think based on your explanation now and the whole narration, I want to conclude that let us see a demonstration of a case of some of the people that have adopted this app before. I think you have been using it. For how many years have you been using it now?
Can you repeat it again?
For how many years have you been using this app now?
We have, this app was being developed, we started the development in 2019 and we released it, somewhere around January 2022 under the super app.
What I'm saying is that you are using this yourself.
Yes.
Sir, what I'm asking is that you have been using this app yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. For how many months or how many years have you been using the app now?
I've been using from January 2022.
Okay. No, so I think we need to draw a case. We need to draw a case study on this. The lifestyle you were using before you started using the app, we compare it with the lifestyle that you were using over the years. And I think Professor Bishnu can help us in this because I want us to have a case presentation like we have in the presentation of Mrs. What I want from Thailand. Where she presented the case of sustainable agriculture, she presented with case study. Then what are the things that has happened in that very case study? Importance, relevance, what has been able to cut down, what has been able to secure, what has been able to advance or amplify or enhance. Let's prepare that very kind of a presentation. Because from the perspective of a research and analysis and interpretation, Basically used to present something like that is going to present a case, then that very case is going to communicate to you, because when you are seeing the visual of the lifestyle before, the lifestyle when this app is being adopted, it's going to communicate something. Consciousness of this thing. I think let us create that aspect of the presentation as well. It's going to help us a lot. I quite agree with all the summations, and I think we are getting a better direction of a strategy to use to communicate better this very app now. And I believe everybody after this very session is going to go back and get the link and download the app and start using them. Maybe after all our sessions, we are going to be reminding our audience to also play that very video that you play today. We will be playing that very video you play today. We'll be playing it in every session. Then we now say that people should go and download their app. Then after a month, we now check what has been their experience and the rest like that. So we can adopt that very strategy. By the time we apply that on our platform, then we take this to other communities like that. I think it's going to help us to create much needed awareness. What do you think about that, Bhaskaran?
You can do that. See, I'm a sustainable practitioner, right? So I do it, I speak about it, and I speak, when I raise questions in the forums, including ministers, when I go for industry conferences, like, do you all practice sustainability? Speakers, are there to speak, right? They don't practice in real life. I ask them, like, do you know what's your carbon footprint? They will give, vague answers, like I take, like cloth bags, I don't collect plastic bags, but they do not know what is the carbon footprint, right? So I do all these activities. We can, I can present it maybe in the next session, it's the same thing, right? Basically, when you know what's your baseline carbon footprint, right? You know what you're consuming. I've done it. My example, as I said, when I knew that my electricity bill has gone up by 35%, now the aircon will not be on, right? Because I switch on my air conditioner for 1 hour, switch it off for 1 hour. So I look at all this. I take, it is, because I can afford to switch on my aircon for 24 hours a day. In many houses, I can do it. But if I don't practice, you will not see me, talking with so much of confidence. Sometimes it's an arrogant, I don't mince my words when I say something, right? Because I care for a word. I want everybody to care for a word. Otherwise, don't blame it on, God, why are you making that? Somebody, there's a cartoon, right? Can we dim the sunlight during, summer? You cannot dim. It's not a lamp to dim the light, right? So people have to take, it's not only me. I'm just, I'm just trying to help people to realize, what they should be doing. I'm just trying to lit a fire, so that becomes a global movement. Right? In fact, like the UN, the SDG 7 for energy and, energy, right? The report came, right? They want to have a global campaign. They also want to reduce the carbon emission, greenhouse gases by 30%. Who will reduce the carbon emission? You think, you can go and tell a business manufacturer, don't produce more this year. Will he listen to you?
Yeah, I think we got the message right. Yes, let's take the last round of the comments from our participants. I actually welcome Mr. Sunday Trimi. See you. Thank you for joining. And there's another person that joined. The person, yes, I received the message of Comrade Alimi. Yes, very understood that you are just joining and you are still studying what the session is all about. Thank you for that very comment. Yes, Aziza, do you have anything to say about this? And also Anessa Latifa and Oluwapo, who has something to say before we take the final remark from our guests for today? Then we switch to the action, like we have all witnessed here today, to start to download that very app and start using it. Then after a while, we can track what we have done, what we have achieved with it. Yes, but Sabaskaran, you want to say something? Yes, quickly, please.
App is actually was available till yesterday on App Store for iOS Apple platform. We have paused it for 1 or 2 days because Apple wants 30% of the sale price as a commission for them. We have written to them, that the app is free, right? Anybody can download for 30 days free. There is no sale is involved. We written them, it may be available after 2 days. This only for Apple iOS. Android phones is available for anybody download. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's a very critical information. The download is available on iOS, Apple, and also the Android, which is a Android Play Store. So the Play Store Android is open. It is available. But the Apple, there are issues that they are trying to sort out with the
we have just
new regulation.
We have just paused it for 1 or 2 days.
Okay. So that is the information. So I think if we don't have any comment again, Mr.
No.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Speak, please.
Okay. Well done. I want to appreciate the brain behind this app. It's very good, and I think if we give the awareness, wide awareness, including our rural settlements, I think inshallah it will be very good application, and it will have a positive impact in all the environments. Thank you. I want to appreciate him, and thank you, the facilitator too.
Thank you. Yes, yes, we just have Mr. Dionu. What happened? Were you in the community?
Yeah.
Did you go on community survey again?
Okay, so I was asking
Question number one. Have you downloaded the app? Have you downloaded the app?
I was trying to get it on I use an iPhone. I think it's not loading on my iPhone.
Yes, I think
I just sent you a private
Bhaskaran is trying
message now.
to clear the issue on that. Yes, no
Okay,
problem.
so I want to say this. I want to say this, Sir Basharan. Mr. Mr. Said, I have Dr. Said, but I have this conference that's coming up in River State. I want to feature the app because I think it's a practical solution to a problem, and is supported by the River State government. We are looking at that. The theme of the conference is Beyond Oil. I think maybe next week when I have time to really talk about, but I want to feature the app because what we are interested in is research and development for climate justice and climate goals, research, and beyond talking about the issues, we have to be committed to developing solutions. And for me, this app is a strong grassroots solution-based system that will help everybody track communications. Dr. Said, I think we need to feature this app in River State.
Yes, you guys. So we are going to rearrange how you are going to get the necessary material from Sir Bhaskaran because there is a particular video and he still promised another video. So if we get the two, then we are going to check it. Then we can connect on how to feature the app and also how to feature Sir Bhaskaran himself because I know he is always available to actually talk about this very solution. I guess Anolu Akbo.
Balance. You can balance the carbon with oxygen. So that's my closing remark, and I'll download the app and work on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, Miss Warawan from Thailand, are you there? Mrs. Warawan, are you there? I think our original handle is not there. Mrs. Warawan? Yes, Sunday Trip is you. You want to say something?
Yes. Good morning,
All right.
all. Although I'm just joining, I don't really have the details of the discussion thus far. But then I know it's about carbon footprint and it's about an app that with the intention to help in calculating and estimating the carbon footprint. So, but I just want to know if the app has incorporated, in order for you to have an extensive knowledge of the carbon footprint, you need to know about scope 1 emissions, scope 2 and scope 3 emissions. That scope 1 is the one that you are directly responsible, and other activities of your whatever. So I don't know that I don't have the details. Like I said, I don't know if this app has incorporated enhancement to be able to estimate carbon emission that maybe as a result of the supply chain activities of your company or other things. Thank you.
Yes, the link of this where did you collect from? Is it from the WhatsApp or from the LinkedIn group?
It's from Facebook. I connected from. Sorry.
Facebook. I will post that. There was a particular announcement that the app link is it on my timeline, so you can download the app or you can message me on my Facebook handle so that I will send the link to the app to you. When you download it, you can now explore it. Then you can now get back to me on your feedback that maybe what you are actually talking about is incorporated already or not. So that is going to help in that manner. And also we can also interact on it in the next session that we are going to have another review on that very app. Is that okay? Is that okay, sir?
It's all right. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Khalid, so I think we don't have her again, and we don't have time left. let me just say that we should have our conclusion for today about this very session. It has been a wonderful experience. So we had issues in the beginning, but with the resilience and also the commitment, we all agree that we should have it, and it has been a wonderful experience. And on this very note, let me call on Professor Vishnu to give us the closing remark for today's session, as usual. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Shahid Adivasi. The today session topic is very excellent and unique topic we have discussed. But however, that my suggestion is that that creating awareness among the student is the best way to adopt this type of apps, and creating awareness in the social platforms and summit like SLSP. This is the best way to discuss about the apps, mobile sustain apps. What is the significance of these apps? Why people should use this app? So many things is there. So I believe creating awareness among the student is the best way, and secondly, creating awareness through the summits. Like Dr. Adivasi has established this type of summit. It is a very significant, playing very significant role to create awareness among the global citizens. So in that way, I really grateful to Dr. Adivasi sir. He also appreciate about this app, which Mr. Bhaskaran has developed with his long effort, long perseverance. So I hope that people will understand the significance of using this app in future or very shortly, because we are in a very danger condition in the earth. Unless we are not taken any initiative to save the planet, a very critical situation we will face. So we hope that we all together fulfill these missions to reduce the carbon footprint through the defined measure. But in the fact and figure, this app is very effective way to reduce the carbon footprint. Thank you so much. And today's summit is very significant and very meaningful. Thank you so much.